Hi, my name is Dennis and welcome yet to another video. I'm from the channel Dynamoto and today we're reviewing the Aprilia RS660. I've done a first impressions, but now after a week I think it's time for a full review. So let's go. We're going to talk about a lot in this video, but first, the looks. Let's be honest, the RS660 looks like a baby RSV 1000. And that's not a bad thing. It has that aggressive Italian sports bike styling, but it's also pretty practical. But the thing that stands out most for me is all the details, like the swing arm, like the colors. In this case, this is the factory version, so this one has a different colorway than the normal version. It also has the O-lens, which I really like because the gold fork, who doesn't like that? The bike is sporty, but not over the top. Of course, it has winglets. That's new for this model, by the way. The previous model didn't have the winglets, but those winglets are a little bit more tasteful than the competition. Let's say, for example, the R9. It's the kind of bike that gets attention when standing next to a cafe. So, day one of using it as a commuter bike, I think this will be an interesting section, and the question is, can you use it as a commuter bike? So my commute is around 20 minutes, so that's pretty short commute, but you can also have a commute of around an hour. I think that's pretty much the max what you can do to keep it a little bit normal. But yeah, the first thing I notice, of course, is the seating position, but that's something that you need to get used to. The good thing is that it has cruise control. It works pretty nice just with this button. You need to know it, but if you have it, it really makes a really nice difference when commuting, because now I can sit right up, and then it's quite a comfortable bike. The seat is pretty cushioned, pretty soft. It does make your commute a lot more exciting if you compare it to a car, for example. So I live pretty much in the countryside, so we have a lot of tractors, and in this case I'm not sure what it is. It looks like lettuce. Not sure. I'm gonna do a little overtake. I do think that I can live with this bike, if you know what I mean. So just for a day-to-day bike. Especially because of the cruise control, because that makes life much more easier. Maybe a little bit bigger windscreen should help. What I do like about these super sports is that they have, for what it is, pretty good wind protection. I think there are 3 categories of bikes that have good wind protection. Those are the ultimate sport tours, of course, like the R1300 RT, for example. They always have good wind protection. Then you have the big adventure bikes, so not the adventure bikes where you go off-road, but for example the GSA, Triumph Tiger, Super Adventure 1390 or 1290 with a little bit of bigger windscreen also give pretty good wind protection. And then you have this category, and everything else doesn't have any good wind protection. And this wind protection is mostly made for this, for sitting like this and going really fast, not 50 kilometers an hour. But yeah, that's the thing. But could I use it as a commuter? I think definitely, especially because of the cruise control that makes it a little bit less fatiguing. I'm not sure if I can do an hour, but maybe an hour at max. Should be quite an economical engine as well. The brakes are pretty good, you know, they one finger braking and it's like that's really nice. Yeah, commuting approved. What is interesting about this bike, and especially the look, is that it looks like a 1000cc bike. But this is in fact a 659cc engine. And it's a really potent engine. It has around 105 brake horsepower. It goes until 12,000 RPM, so it's a pretty high RPM motorcycle. What is really interesting is that it feels like a V-twin. So it has that punchiness, that rawness of the V-twin, but if you ride a little bit slower, it's not like uncontrollable like the old RSV 1000 bikes. On paper, 105 brake horsepower doesn't sound that crazy, but believe me, it feels like a much faster bike. Also, the sound of the bike is really, really nice because it's not that you hear the exhaust note a lot, but you do hear the intake. It really reminds me of the Moto Guzzi V100 Mandello that also had that really nice intake sound. This is the perfect bike when you have neighbors that are complaining about the sound. In this case, you don't hear anything out of the exhaust, at least not a lot, but the intake sound, so the sound that the rider hears the most, is pretty nice. By the way, I'm not sure if you noticed it, but I'm not at my own garage. I'm here at the Dynamoto headquarters in the Netherlands. And together with Dynamoto, I made this video. So I'm a really big fan of these stands, so that's why I'm also promoting them, of course. I've been using them for, I think, 2 months now, and I've been using them on both my BMWs. And I think it's a really good solution to make sure that your storage in your garage is pretty efficient. Also, some basic maintenance and cleaning is made easier with these stands. Quite an investment, so I would like to help you with my discount code. You can use the code DROOMMOTOR for a little discount, and you can go to the link in the description to get the discount as well. By the way, you're probably thinking, I'm not in Europe, how can I order the Dynamoto stand? You can also order it outside of Europe with a different link, and that's also down below in the description. It gives me a little bit of kickback, but most importantly, hopefully it incentivizes you to get this really good stand, because I think it's a really good investment. If you're buying a bike like this, around 15,000 euros, it's a pretty small investment to have these really good stands, and they will last you a lifetime. So I would highly recommend them. Now back to the video. So we really need to talk about the rideability, and we need to talk about it on the bike. So what do I feel? What do I notice? Of course, the brakes are phenomenal. They are the same radial mounted brakes as the V100 Mandello and probably also the RSV4 and the Tuono. They are very good, and I'm quite impressed that they have a radial Brembo brakes in this price range, but they are absolutely awesome. Also the Öhlins suspension, it soaks up the bumps. Of course, it's still a sport bike, so it's no ADV bike, but it's quite comfortable and I really like it. I'm not a very sporty rider, I'm just an average rider, and for me the suspension feels absolutely fine, so that's really good. Maneuverability, it is a sport bike, so it has a pretty long, a big turning radius, but it's really stable in the corners, and I really like the chassis. The chassis, I really like the chassis. It's pretty stiff, but yeah, it feels right, you know. And I can really imagine myself buying this bike and doing track days and maybe doing some track training, because I think it's a really approachable super sport bike. Yeah, I really like the rideability of this bike. And I can also see it as a daily rider, by the way. So this bike is of course loaded with tech. It has cruise control, it has a quick shifter up and down, it has multiple ride modes, you can change the display, it has LED headlights and a rear tail light, it has LED turn signals, it has a lot. Is it something missing? I don't think so. I think it has more than enough. The buttons are really good. They're the same as on the RS660, as on the Tuono, as on the RSV4, as on the Moto Guzzi's, the V100 Mandello, for example, and the Stelvio. I think they feel high quality and I think they're really, really good. They don't feel mushy, they feel pretty clicky, and it looks like a really nice piece of kit. Now the question arises, who is this bike for? And I think this is a really easy question to answer. I think this bike is for someone who wants to do track days, someone who loves super sport bikes, but someone who doesn't want a 1000cc bike and wants to learn how to ride fast on these kind of bikes. Someone who wants Italian flavor and not safe and maybe a little bit boring Japanese. Someone who doesn't want Chinese bikes but wants something with style and character. And I think that is the guy or girl who this bike is for. And I wanted to talk about the comfort of riding long distance, riding on the highway. I've done a lot of highway miles. The thing is with this bike, the harder you ride, or the faster, the better the wind protection is. It's quite comfortable. But of course it's not a long distance commuter bike. It's still a sport bike. By the way, some practical things. Mirrors are really good. You can see a lot through these mirrors. Of course, if you want the best styling, you need some smaller mirrors like those blade mirrors. But they are quite practical. And is this a practical bike? That's also a question you could have. And of course, the looks always betray it, because I don't think it is a practical bike. But that's okay. It's not what the bike is for. I think it's good to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the price and the engine. So the price for this bike in the Netherlands is around 15,000 euros. But bear in mind, we have pretty expensive bikes here because we have some extra taxes in the Netherlands. But 15,000 euros you get the airline suspension, because this is the factory version. And for 2,000 euros less you get the standard. Now at this moment you get a 4-year warranty. That means that they are quite sure that these bikes are reliable, and I do trust that. But yeah, if you pay 15,000 euros, you don't expect a 600cc bike, but it has quality suspension, quality brakes, really good build quality. It also looks very good. So I do understand it, but you need to bear in mind that the bike has a lot of competition right now. If you look at the Chinese manufacturers, for example. But yeah, some people want something with some flair, with some character, and I think Aprilia does that very well. And we all know that the Italians know how to design a bike, and that's nothing different with this bike. But yeah, you can also buy a second-hand bike or a 1000cc or a 4-cylinder, and I do think that if this bike does need a 4-cylinder, I think. I think that's my personal preference. I do like sport bikes, but I do think that they need or a fat V-twin or a really nice 4-cylinder. But a 2-in-line bike is a lot more practical because the power is pretty down low, so you don't have to ride awful speeds when you want some excitement. So that's also a thing to consider. I think the price is fair and you get a really beautiful bike for it. Now let's get back to the studio and let's talk about the competition of this bike. So I'm not quite at home with these kind of bikes. So I did something that a lot of YouTubers do, and that is ask ChatGPT. So I've asked ChatGPT, what is a competition? So let's go through that list and see if I think that is a real competition. We have the Yamaha R7, that's the new Yamaha race bike. Sort of the same, it's also a 2-cylinder, also a 2-in-line engine. It's the same engine as the MT-07. I've never ridden it, but I do think that the looks are really good. So the Yamaha R7 is a little bit cheaper, so that could be a good contender, but then you don't have the Italian flair and probably also not the high-end brakes. We also have the Honda CB650R, that's around the same price as the Yamaha. And yeah, that's more apple and oranges, or maybe apple and apples, because yeah, it's Yamaha or Honda, both are Japanese bike, and I think it is what you prefer as a rider. That's about it for the new bikes. Then we have, of course, the small Chinese elephant in the room, and that's the CF Moto race bikes, and those are pretty cheap, and I do think the look is very good. But I do recommend, if you want high quality parts like Brembo brakes and alien suspension, you would really need to check out this Aprilia RS660. I would personally go for this one, but yeah, it's up to you. So final conclusions, would I buy it myself? And not yet. I do think that this is a bike that I could buy in the future if I wanted to do a little bit more track riding. But for me, a super sport bike or a super sport-esque bike is not the bike for me at this moment. I really prefer my ADV bikes and my naked bikes, but I can imagine that people are buying this a lot because this bike is the perfect bike as a daily commuter, but you can also use it as a track bike. And if I would do track days, I've never done it myself, but maybe I need to do it in the future, but maybe not, because then I get another hobby and I need to get more bikes. But if I would do a track day in the future, I do think that this bike will be my first choice. I think it's a really easy bike to ride. It is confidence inspiring, and it's not the most expensive super sport out there, especially if you buy the bike without the factory package. Then I think it's quite affordable. So yeah, would I buy it? Not now, but maybe in the future. So that's it for the video. If you have any questions about this bike, please let me know down below in the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more videos about the Aprilia bikes and a lot of other bikes. Bye. Hey, are you still watching? Good, good. Thank you very much for watching this video until the end. I hope you liked it. And if you do, please consider to subscribe, because that would really help the channel. For now, if you want to see anything more, this is my recommended video for you. This is my latest video for you. And again, if you want to subscribe, please tap here.